Hello everyone, welcome back to intelKeen Skills. This is day 6 of our 30 days code challenge, and today we are going to learn Python strings with loops. By the end of this video, we will get a clear idea on what a string is in Python and difference between even and odd indices, logic to separate characters, how zero-based indexing works, why and how to use loops with strings, and some common mistakes that beginners will do. Now let us understand what is a string in Python. A string is simply a piece of text enclosed in either single quotations or double quotations. If you see here in this example, hello world is a string, which is enclosed in quotations. And then ordered sequence. A string is a ordered sequence. Think of it as an ordered list of characters. Every character has a specific position, means H is at a position of index 0. E is at a position of index 1. In that way, it is the ordered list of characters. Length and access. To count the characters in the string, we will use len of that particular variable name. And to grab specific ones using their index position, we will use s of that particular index value. See here, you can see the example. Here we are counting the length of that string using len, and here we are accessing the characters what we want. And here for a string in any programming language, the indexing will start from 0, not 1. This means the first character is always at position 0, not 1. And this is a simple visual representation of how a string values are pointing out to the index. See here, H is pointing to index 0 and E to 1, L to 2, L to 3 and O to 4. And to access H, we'll use like S of 0, which is the index. And then to access E, S of 1. 1 is the index for E. See here, if you observe, it starts at 0. And for accessing, as I told you, we write it as S of 0, S of 1, S of 2 in that way. And the last index is always 1 less than the length of that string because the indexing is starting from 0. And to know the difference between even versus odd indices, let's see this example. We all know what are even and odd numbers. The same concept works here. 0 is even, 1 is odd, 2 is even, 3 is odd. The same continues. And to check whether that particular number is even or odd, that particular index number is divisible by 2. Then we can say it as even. If it is not divisible by 2, with a remainder 1, that is odd. That is the difference between even and odd indices. Now, why we use loops with strings? Let us understand one by one. Visit each character. It will visit each character. Means loops allows us to automatically travel through the string from the first character to the last, ensuring no letter is skipped. See here, if you see this example over here, when you are looping inside that particular loop, it won't skip even a single character in that particular string. For that, we use loops in strings. It will go through each and every character in the string. It won't even skip a single character in that string. And apply logic by position. And also here we can check the position, means the index, while looping. For example, if that particular character index is even, then keep that letter. Otherwise, skip it. In that way, we can also check the position while looping. And here, the main two approaches are range and enumerate. For these loops with strings, we can use these both in the loops. For example, as we all know in the previous session, we are very clear about range. Right? Here, if you want both index and the character in your output, it is better to use enumerate. In this way, enumerate will print the index and the character together. No need of rewriting, no need of taking that particular index and again the particular character of that index. Enumerate will automatically get both index and character here. This is the problem statement that we are going to do in HackerRank. Let's try to understand it. What is the task? Given a string S, your goal is to separate the characters into two groups, those at even indices and those at odd indices. And the second one, order matters. You must maintain the original relative order of the characters. Do not sort or shuffle them because the order matters here. And the output. The result should be two distinct strings, one containing all even position characters and one for odd position characters. This is the task. Now, let's understand step-by-step logic here. First one, create empty lists to hold our characters. Here they asked us to hold the characters separately. One is for even indices and the other is for odd indices. For that, we need to define two lists, which is even characters, one list, and odd characters, the another list. And then start the loop using range. Here range is used to get every index number one by one. And then check even or odd. That particular index is even or odd. Check for that. If it is even, add that to the list even characters. If it is odd, you can add that to odd characters. And then join and print those two. And here, how can we use index and range? Standard range. Range of length of that string generates numbers from 0 up to that length, but not including that length. It gives you valid indices to access S of I. Enumerate is mostly recommended one to get both character and that index. It is very cleaner. It unpacks the index I and character char in one go, so you don't have to write S of I manually. So it is mostly recommended one. And stepping with range. If you want to skip any of the indices in between, you can use this stepping with range. As I explained you clearly about this, you can also use this stepping with range if you want to skip any of the indices in between. And you can also understand what is a string slicing, but for now, if you are a beginner, it's better not to use slicing, because if you want to understand clearly more about loops, you need more practice on loops. For that, for now, avoid this slicing. You can go for loops. See here, Python has a superpower called slicing. Here in slicing, I'll tell you clearly the concept. We can have three numbers. We can keep it here. The first number is the starting one, and the second one is the ending one, and the third one is the stepping one. The same like the range. See here, if you see the example over here, it is starting at 0 and stepping with range 2. And the odd characters, it is starting at 1 and stepping at range 2. This is the simple, like optimized code to print the even and odd indices. But if you are a beginner, it's better to use loops to get more practice on it. And this is the code with explanation. See here, in the first step, we defined two separate lists, even for storing even characters and for storing odd characters. And then we are writing loop for I in range, that particular length of that string. And here, as we are not using enumerate, we need to define S of I to character and check that I is even or odd. If it is odd, append that to even character list. If it is odd, append that to odd character list. And this is a sample input and output. Let us take input as programming. If you see the output over here, PORMIG are at the even indices. and the remaining are at the odd indices. Usually we're getting like this. After joining, we'll get the strings like this, and we will print those characters in separate lists. These are the common beginner's mistake. Please go through this slide and make a note on it. Till now, these are the things that we have learned. What is zero-based indexing, and what is the difference between even and odd indices, and why it is so efficient to use loops in strings. That is all about the concept of loops in strings. Now let's solve today's task. For that, before writing the code, we need to understand the task that is given. I already explained you before in the concept about the task, how to separate even indexes and odd indexes, everything. But here we need to think logically, and we need to split the logic step by step. First, we are given the number of test cases. Then for each test case, we get one string. For every string, print characters at even indexes and print characters at odd indexes. Both should be printed on the same line, separated by space. The first step is to read test cases. First, we read how many strings we are going to process. For that, p is equals to integer of input dot string. This tells Python how many times the code should run. And the second step is to loop through each string. Here we loop through each test case and read the string. For in range t times, but we'll store each string into the other variable, which is s. And now initialize empty strings for even characters and for odd characters. One will store characters from even indexes and the other will store characters from odd indexes. The step 4 is to loop through the string using its index. For in range, the length of string times. Inside it, we'll check whether that index is even or odd. If I modulo 2 is equals to 0, then add it to even characters. Is equals to s of I. Hence, add it to odd characters. Now, print both even characters and odd characters. Let's run the code and check the output. Yeah, without any error, the code has run. Now submit the code and check whether all the test cases are passed or any test case is failing. That is all for today. I hope you like this video. If you felt the video is very helpful for you, please like and subscribe to intelKeen Skills. Thank you. Meet you in the next video.